What's happening, everybody? Rod J back to check out another beer. I'm going to take a look at one from Goose Island. This is the Goose IPA. I've had this many a time, I guess you can say by now, but had never done a review on it, so I figured, why not go and get that knocked out real quick? So this one comes in at 5.9% ABV, 55 IBU. Of course, Goose Island is out of Chicago. Goose IPA. We don't need to be the only beer you drink. We just want to be the best beer you drink. So this one is usually a pretty pleasant beer. As you can see, I have it here in the can. Go ahead and pop it open and get it into a glass. And on this one, I'm actually using one of my glasses that's actually designed for IPAs. Kind of a different looking design, so you may not be familiar as seeing it out there, but they say it's supposed to make things a little bit better. Glass recommendation usually is a shaker or a tulip glass as the preference for this beer. So here we go in the glass. It actually poured out a little bit more aggressively than I like, so it gave me like a 3-finger head pretty much. Nice clarity on it, nice golden, pretty much straw color. When you put it to the light, it gets a little more golden for you. But lots of carbonation taking place. If you can see some of that bubble action there. And you can see the clarity as you can kind of see right through to the other side. So no cloudiness, no haziness. Their beers are usually kind of suited that way. But Goose Island, as you know, technically not a craft beer anymore because of some of the changes that have taken place. But I think they still make some great beers. They still make some craft type beers that, you know, I like to go back and enjoy some beers from them, so I do. So, again, this is the Goose IPA. The head, nice white head, nice rockiness on the head, some nice sized bubbles there in the head itself. Everything you would kind of like for a nice appearance on the beer. And one of the things that stands out is the clarity here versus IPA versus, like, say, a Pilsner. You don't have as much of the bubble action, but you do have lots of lively carbonation taking place. And go ahead and get an aroma. And like most of your IPAs, you want to get that fruity aroma that comes off the glass. I get that grapefruit, I get that orange. Comes out of the glass very nice, a nice moderate to strong scent there. I get the dankness from some of the hops in the background, some nice pine smell. But really the fruit is just an awesome smell from the hops that they use for this one. Yeah, nice little balance between the hops and the malts. Go ahead and get a taste. On the taste, I do get hit up front some with the bitterness. The ABV, as I mentioned on this one, is 5.9%, so a little less than I usually drink on some of my IPAs. But you get the hops in there on that initial taste. You get a little bit of that mouthfeel, which I would consider to be pretty much a medium body mouthfeel. You do have a slight watery texture on this one. Usually I like my IPAs a little bit more firm along those lines. But the flavors do open up nicely. You get a little bit of a sting on the back of the tongue. The duration, pretty good. Average to a little bit of a long duration. It does. The flavors do last, like I mentioned, around a long period of time. Not really any astringency on the back end, which is nice. You can feel the flavors from the mouth up through the cheeks. Very pleasant tasting beer. Any bitterness is really on that front part. It finishes with a nice crisp finish after it smooths out. Carbonation not too heavy going down. It's a nice put together beer. You do have some of the lacing, as you can see, taking place on the glass as well. And the head's still trying to hang in there a little bit down to just under a finger of head. But overall, not a bad IPA. This is one that also may be a good one for someone that's looking to get into the IPA area. 55 IBU, but it's not as heavy. You do have that initial, like I said, bite of bitterness up front, but you're going to get that with IPAs. But someone looking to break in, it's not going to be too overbearing for them to try to do that. I would consider this to be more of a basic to a moderate or basic to medium type IPA, right there between the beginning to like the middle level. But definitely a good one to try to start if you want to start going the IPA route. Take a look at some of the ratings here. Untappd has it as an average of 3.51 bottle caps. Rate Beer has it as a 92 overall and an 88 for style. And Beer Advocate comes in with an 83 being good. So pretty much across the board, respectable ratings on this one from Goose Island. I'm going to actually give this one I'm going to give it a B. I think it's a solid B IPA. Gives you everything you would kind of want in an IPA. Doesn't really push the envelope too much. But as I mentioned, for someone that's looking to get into that type of area, it's a good starter one. For someone that's already in that area, it's one you can sit and enjoy. Maybe look to kind of session it a little bit. So that is the Goose IPA. If you haven't had it, give it a shot. Definitely worth a try, as many of their beers are from Goose Island. Don't get hung up on them basically not being in that craft label right now, since the ownership has kind of pushed them out of it. They still make a lot of good quality beers. So again, that's the Goose Island IPA. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, but if you've had this one before, go ahead and put some comments in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about this beer. Love to hear your feedback on it as well. If you like what you saw in the video, also make sure you hit that like button. And of course, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed as of yet. And to stay up to speed on the other videos. So with that, I'm going to say cheers. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Cheers.